The Olympics has been a massive thumbs up. I've enjoyed it immensely. I've watched it on TV. I've got in my car, I've jumped in, listened to the radio, and obviously we work with people who are out there, and it's been great. Absolutely great.
Brilliant stuff. I don't know if you were watching Emma Hayes' USA take on Brazil yesterday in the women's football final. I got to watch it with my sister yesterday, and fair play to Emma Hayes. What an absolute machine she is. But their main cheerleader yesterday, Tom Cruise, supporting. I mean, what a weird combo. Tom Cruise and Emma Hayes on a flight together, like looking like the best pals. Tom Cruise with our family, and he's going to do the closing ceremony as well. He's planning a Mission Impossible stunt off the Stade de France at some point tonight. So that.
What do you think he's getting for that?
Oh, can you only imagine? And then there's going to be a big screen with him somewhere in LA with the next, but I don't know.
Well, Snoop Dogg, wasn't he? He was paid
12 million?
Yeah, like 500,000 a day.
Fair play though. Snoop's been good value for money.
You'd expect him to be good money for 500 grand a day.
Absolutely. Entertainers, Snoop Dogg.
A few people are saying they want their fees upped.
Yeah.
I know that.
Michael Weadock's been one of them, actually. He's looking for an increase. Michael, you've been outstanding every single day from the Olympics. You've loved every minute of it, haven't you? This is your thing.
I have, because I'm actually on more than Snoop Dogg.
Good for you.
As far as talkSPORT are concerned, they've been paying me way more than Snoop Dogg.
You'll probably just get the dog.
More the Snoop.
Michael, another great day for us yesterday. I mean, Georgia Bell, park run to bronze. We'll get into that in a second. Also, our first medal in the artistic swimming. We also got another diving medal. I mean, the relays too. We've been brilliant.
Yeah, I think one of the things that what the organisers, as far as Team GB are concerned, and UK Sport, who are the body that fund elite sport in our country, one of the things that they have often said, and they said at the last games and they've said at this games, is they wanted to try and win more medals across more sports. Right. And they set that medal range. They set that medal range at 50 to 70, and what are we now? Early 60s. So they've achieved that. I'm not sure that they're going to be the top European nation, because France have had a brilliant games as the host nation. I'm not sure they're going to be the top 5, because I think they're 6th currently in the medal table. But one of their other stated ambitions was more medals across more sports. So when you think that they've won a gold medal in things like sport climbing, they've won a medal in artistic swimming, as you say there, for Kate and Izzy for the very first time. They've had a brilliant track and field program here with lots of medals, 3 more bronze medals last night. And I would love to get into the Georgia Bell story with you too, because I think it for me, it's just one of the absolute stories, the highlights of the games.
Definitely.
I think the fact that they've won so many medals across so many sports is what they will be pushing, and is what they will be very happy about this morning, because when they look back and think, right, what are we going to do? How many people back in the UK are going to try and start skateboarding where there's been a medal, or start BMXing where there's been a medal, or start doing artistic swimming where there's been a medal? You know, that's what they will tell us over the next few days and weeks.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Georgie Bell. Personal best time-wise, gets a bronze. I've got to mention Laura Muir as well, because I think she set her own personal best, as you know, in the 1500. And fair play. I mean, Georgie Bell, you tell us her story, because I know she sort of stopped running for a period and then come back. And look, she's been rewarded with this effort with a bronze. Yeah,
I mean, I mentioned Laura Muir first. She finished 5th in that 1500 metres final. What a quick race it was. Her time, 3:53.37, a personal best time. You can't do any more than your personal best in the Olympic final. If you are a elite athlete, you want to just turn up at the Olympic Games and do your best. And that's what Laura Muir did. Silver medalist, of course, 3 years ago. She finished 5th. She finished 5th in a race that featured an Olympic record for Faith Kipyegon of Kenya. Jessica Hull of Australia won the silver. And Georgia Bell broke that British record in a time of 3:52.61. So let me take you back to when I first met Georgia Bell at the start of this year. She was working in cyber security. She'd been a very talented junior athlete. So in her younger years, you know, she was one of those athletes that a lot of people thought, you know, might go on and achieve what she achieved last night. But she thought that it wasn't going to happen for her. She went to America, didn't have a great time of it, stepped away from the sport, works in cyber security now. But during the pandemic, started doing park runs for something to do, came back into the sport, was obviously, you know, doing some very, very good times, came back and did well at the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow at the start of the year. And I got to know her a little bit from there, spoke to her regularly. and her times kept coming down and her performances kept improving, and she qualified for this team. And I think being an Olympian this year was a surprise for Georgia Bell. Being an Olympic finalist this year was a surprise for Georgia Bell. Being an Olympic medalist this year, absolutely unbelievable surprise for Georgia Bell. But watching her this week, coming through the heat semi-finals, it hasn't surprised me because she looked absolutely as though she belonged in that company. She looked fantastic coming through. And I was watching her coming up the home straight, and I was just thinking to myself, don't finish fourth. Don't finish fourth. Now, fourth at the Olympic Games is a fantastic achievement, but the fact that she got past and the Ethiopian athlete and got a medal, I mean, absolutely amazing. What a story. And now she's got to decide at 30 years of age, does she carry on with athletics or does she go back to that exciting world of cybersecurity?
Let's hear from Georgia Bell now and her strategy in the race yesterday.
Yeah, I knew I could finish strong. It was actually the bit in the middle that was harder. Like, I knew I had to not let a gap open up, and they went fast from the gun. So it was like, I think we came through like 59.60, and that's quick. But yeah, I just thought, don't let it open up, hang on, and I knew I'd have something to finish, so I'm happy. Yeah.
Georgia Bell there, yeah, outstanding stuff getting that bronze. But Michael, I've just been reading that she's actually linked up with Keely Hodgkinson's coach Trevor Painted as well. She's now Britain's most improved athlete this year. Like you say, you've got to know her over the last wee while. Do you think she will continue this? And actually, when you are at the age of 30, how much more can you push on and strengthen and get better and faster?
I think she will continue because, you know, she's got an opportunity at the moment, hasn't she? I mean, and she hasn't got the racing in her legs that a lot of athletes have. I think Laura Muir, for example, is probably having some different thoughts, different conversations at the minute. Laura, as we know, is a trained vet. Does Laura think this is my time to step off the stage? I don't know. It's a really interesting question that a lot of us ask athletes at this stage. What's next? Are you going to retire? Are you going to carry on? And I just think it's too soon for these athletes to think about it. Certainly where I am trackside, they're immediately in the aftermath of stepping on the track. So I think Laura has some decisions to make, and I don't know what the outcome of those decisions will be. For Georgia, what I would say is that we've got a European Championships coming to Birmingham in 2026. She'll be 32. We, fingers crossed, we'll have a Commonwealth Games in 2026, which more than likely will be back on these shores as well. Scotland, the front runners for those. Again, you know, she'll be 32 for that. I think a lot of the athletes might look to just to try and hang on. This has been a brilliant championships, a brilliant atmosphere, lots of British fans here. But if you are going to carry on for another year or two, to be able to go out in Birmingham or go out potentially in Glasgow at a European Championships or a Commonwealth Games, I think might be the time where you think that's the perfect time to step off the stage.
Michael, just briefly, last night I watched Inga Britson win the 5,000. That was brilliant. The high jump was a great competition. Just before you tell us about today, just thoughts on last night?
Yeah, it was just another brilliant night of athletics. I really do think that the track and field program here, and you know, we're quite blinkered. I've said this more than once. We're quite blinkered in the UK that we get very focused on athletics as the centerpiece of the Olympic Games. That's quite a UK perspective. It's not like that all the way around the world. But I think what the last week being trackside at all the athletics has shown me is, you know, it is still something special. You've got over 200 nations who are able to enter athletes. It is still the only sport at the Olympic Games that has that. It is still the only sport at the Olympic Games that has all of the supporters that come in morning and evening, 80,000 people coming in for every session. So I mean, I was never out of love with athletics, but I've, you know, got up a notch again, having witnessed this athletics program here at the Olympics, because it wasn't like this in Rio. There were lots of empty seats in Rio. Clearly it wasn't like this in Tokyo because it was the COVID Games. And I just think anyone that's competed here, and the Americans have had a brilliant Olympics here, anyone that's competed here will think, I would love to compete in front of those kind of crowds, that kind of noise all the time. So, yeah, I think it's been a really good 10 days for World Athletics.
Yeah, it's been absolutely constant. And now we're heading into the final day. And I thought I'm interested to what will happen in terms of the artistic swimming and everybody who wants to get involved in that, from getting our first medal there yesterday. All of that and those stats will come out later on further down the line, but there's no doubt that everybody's just been really captured, I think, by the Games this time. And it's just had so much drama as well, and so many brilliant stories, so perfectly told. What's coming up for us then today as we kind of close out? I think is it 3 golds available? Hopefully available for Team GB.
Yeah, and we'll continue telling those stories across on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2 Shebahn today, because you're right, three more medals, potentially maybe 4 medals up for grabs today for Great Britain, because you've got the track cycling, which is where I'm heading off later on. You've got the women's Omnium with Nia Evans, who's already won a medal here. The women's sprint with Emma Finucane, who's also already won medals here. And Jack Carlin in the men's Kieran, who's won a couple of medals here as well. So the cyclists will finish the programme in the velodrome. All eyes will be on Emily Campbell, of course, who won a silver medal in Tokyo in the weightlifting. She's had to wait all this time. We just heard from her. So my colleague John Cushing will be heading to see if Emily Campbell can win another Olympic medal. And of course, we've got good prospects in the modern pentathlon today. So my colleague Joe Anker is off to see the modern pentathlon today as well, and see whether we can potentially win another medal there. Kate French and Carenza Bryson in the final events of the women's modern pentathlon. Remember, Kate French won the gold medal on the final day 3 years ago in Tokyo.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.